And it's this. You've heard about his national compulsory service 18 to 24. Do you support forced national compulsory service?
Okay. I've heard briefly about that, yes.
Do you support that?
No.
Okay. Do you support that Obama spearheaded the banker takeover that's now $8.5 trillion and it's secret and they won't say where it is? Just like Bush supported it, Obama says we have to have another banker bailout. Do you support that?
No, I don't. I'm not into bailout at all.
So what is it you support? What is it, ma'am, you support about Barack Obama?
I am torn between supporting him, to be honest with you, and my family is a family full of Democrats, so I'm torn between supporting him and any political party at this point in time because I think the American people with both parties have been deceived, and we as Americans have to open up our eyes and decide what we're going to do for our country.
Ma'am, listen, Obama is a corporate-created foundation front man. He is going to betray you. Don't sign on like the Germans did or the Russians did to Stalin and then sign on to all his evil like conservatives signed on to Bush and then the torture, the secret arrest, the wars. Don't be conned. God bless you. Luke Rudowski on the ground in Washington, D.C., surrounded by regular Army troops and National Guard, searching everyone. We'll talk to you coming up in the next hour. Luke Rudowski, thanks for reporting for Infowars.com from the streets of D.C. Okay.
All right, thank you so much. I'm here doing everything live, talking to people. We're going to be talking to more people. We're going to be talking to people as long as the battery dies.
Luke, we got to jump. Again, they're streaming live at prisonplanet.tv with a video feed from there on the ground. Now, without further ado, Congressman Ron Paul for the next 20 minutes joins us. Congressman, the 44th president with messianic media coverage. Is this good in history? We've never seen this in American history, to have someone being worshipped and the media saying, get behind him, do whatever he says, and then Obama says another banker bailout, a new Bank of the U.S. that's private, youth brigades. He's formed USAservice.org, a private army for himself to go out and ensure his policies, literally out of Mao's playbook. Congressman.
But no, I don't think it's a good idea at all, and he can fool a lot of people. But, I was watching the speech that he gave on the business station. It was interesting. He wasn't reassuring the markets. Gold is up sharply and the Dow Jones is down sharply. So if he really was reassuring us that he was going to take care of us, I think the markets would have acted differently. But a lot of people are fooled, and a lot of people are expecting a whole lot and think that he is going to be a savior. But I think it will be short-lived.
Congressman, as you know, they've introduced a new bill to give dictatorial power to the Attorney General to where he can ban any semi-automatic or any, quote, rifles that could have a military use, most rifles and shotguns and handguns. That has been introduced. They're introducing a bill to nationally register all firearms. Out of the gates, he's saying he's going to call for a carbon tax and declare CO2 a toxic waste. We thought Bush tripling the size of government was bad. What are we facing, sir? And what are the biggest threats right now from the new Obama administration that just launched?
Well, he'll make it grow much faster if the whole system hangs together for that long. But the big question is whether there's going to be a collapse of the dollar, and all bets are off on what will transpire then. But no, if we go along with the system held together relatively so, he's going to massively increase the government. I think there'll be national youth service and also possibility of a military draft. I think there'll be expansion of operations overseas. And the only way they know how to play for any of this is printing more money. That's why it's a contest. How long can this go on by massively expanding the size of government and undermining the value of the dollar before people give up on the dollar? So it'll be interesting to see what's happened. I find it fascinating. Tragically, though, it's so dangerous that you can't really sit back and relax about it. We all have to prepare for what's going on.
We're talking to Congressman Ron Paul from Texas, and he joins us for the balance of the hour. Congressman, specifically, let's talk about solutions and then get into more of the threats. Obama, Biden, the pundits, they all admit that he'll have about 150, 200 days. He's saying he's going to have a blitzkrieg of gun control legislation, illegal alien amnesty, carbon taxes, new federal agencies, new wars, record defense budgets. And they're saying that they know that things are going to be so bad in the economy. They're saying this in speeches. They're saying it's going to get painful. It's going to be austerity. Get ready. We've got to give trillions a week to the bankers. How important is it now to resist this agenda and point it out and organize the huge Ron Paul liberty movement that Obama mimicked successfully with a false organic movement? How important is it, and how do we mobilize, and what are the key things to fight in the first 200 days if we're going to save this republic? Because you've always talked about that coming crisis when the world government imploded the economy by design so they could rebuild it with even greater control, that we could use that key window to reverse it and bring in the culture of liberty.
Well, we have to continue to do exactly what we're doing, trying to win people over to our side, spread the message, get the attention of Washington the best we can. Now, the one way we could look at this in a positive way is those Republicans who wimped along and did everything George Bush told them to do are now resistors. So we have more resistance there. We're going to hear more noise in Washington against Obama than we ever heard against George Bush, because the Democrats love George Bush and the Republicans wouldn't say boo. At least we'll have a little bit of that. But the problem is in 100 days or 200 days, we do our best, but we can't really expect to reverse this tide, because he's assuming that he has this mandate and he's going to march forward. And how we act when an acute monetary crisis hits is something that has to be determined then. But in the meantime, people have acted in their own best interest. It didn't take individuals very long to figure out that there would be more controls on guns. All of a sudden, gun sales soared and prices of guns soared. Ammunition, they're afraid the ammunition will be taken away or registered, and those prices have soared. People learn how to make their own ammunition. So all kinds of things automatically happen. I don't think you have to have one group or one person tell everybody what they have to do. My goal has always been to get information out there and try to counteract these socialistic, totalitarian ideas with the ideas of freedom.
Sir, specifically, you're on the House Banking Committee. Bloomberg and AP report 5 weeks ago, the last time we saw numbers, that it was $1.3 trillion a week disappearing, and the Federal Reserve will not tell Congress or anywhere else where the money has gone. Now they're saying they need $1 trillion more to, quote, unfreeze these toxic derivatives, these instruments. Can you specifically speak, because now Newsweek has the headline, "A world government run by a world bank." The very people that engineered the crisis are now openly proposing a world government run by the very private central banks that have hijacked our economy and are looting us in a financial coup. This is so huge. It's just hard to even analyze something this brazen with this much chutzpah. My question is, you're on the banking committee. We have this giant heist going on. They're openly announcing the world government, saying we're going to pay carbon taxes to this new central bank. This is outrageous. This is totally unpopular in all the polls. 98% are against it. Is the elite pinning everything on Obama, hoping that with this messianic fervor and hype that somehow he can bring this through and get it done?
I think so, and maybe they also are in deep planning right now for the crisis that we expect. With the dollar collapse, they want to be in a position worldwide to devise the next system. So I'm sure, they're making their plans for that as well. Last week we had a vote on an amendment on the bill that did not get passed, Barney Frank's bill on the TARP funds. And the amendment had to do with demanding that the Federal Reserve turn over the information about where all these credits are going. And I think it passed I think it passed unanimously. So the sentiment is changing. And we are specifically, at my request, going to have hearings in a couple weeks that Barney Frank has agreed to, and that is to get Bernanke in front of the committee and give us more information about what they're doing. I don't think much will come of it. I don't think because we're having these hearings and he's coming that all of a sudden they're going to do it. But the sentiment is growing. The people want the information. The people are tired of it, and they're getting frightened, and the members of Congress evidently know about it. But in the meantime, though, when you hear speeches like we just heard and the plans being laid and the internationalism that goes on, I think there's a lot of plans going on right now on what they're going to replace the dollar system with.
Well, the good news, sir, as you know, everything you've been talking about for 30 years has now come true. It's sad that you were right, but we've now hit the iceberg, and our credibility as the liberty movement, the freedom movement, libertarian movement, true conservative movement is exploding right now. So, I mean, I guess that is the opportunity in all of this. Now, Henry Kissinger 2 weeks ago on MSNBC, I don't know if you saw it, said Obama is worshipped worldwide. We can use his personality as a plus with this global crisis to bring in the new world order.
Yeah, and you know, the first president that ever said that in open discussion was George Bush Sr. when he talked about the New World Order. Before, many talked about it, and we had read about it, and if you believed in it, you know, you were some nut. But George Bush talked about it openly, so it is more likely to be mentioned, and I did hear Kissinger's comments